friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, I'm here for another one of my natural remedies lists videos that's going to go in that full series that I'll be linking to down below, where I cover very many different ailments or just things that you're trying to do to help just be healthier, like healthy skin, healthy hair, and so on and so forth. You can check out that full playlist to see all the topics I've covered thus far. Always have more to do, but today is going to be about natural relief for seasonal allergies. And just so people know, when I compile lists like this, I get my information from various different places: natural-based resources, medical resources, and science-based sources, and also experience. Now, before I get into the list, I want to start off by sharing my own personal story. Now, I used to battle with seasonal allergies quite a bit years ago. And one of the first steps, this was what surprised me, because I was trying to get off any pharmaceuticals. I was only on one prescription medication, which was thyroid medication, went off that. But before that, I was also taking on a regular basis allergy medicine that I bought over the counter. And then usually at least a couple times a week, I was taking an over the counter pain medicine, which was usually acetaminophen or ibuprofen, depending on the pain. I usually try to keep it mixed up, but then came convinced I needed to get rid of all of that stuff out of my life. And one thing I did was, when I stopped taking the allergy medications, before even heavily looking into this stuff and what's going to be helpful, what surprised me was that I don't know if it's that the combination of different things I was making, just generally speaking, to be more healthy, but I stopped having as many problems with seasonal allergies. And just going off the over-the-counter medication, again, it could have just been coincidence, but I was surprised at how much better my allergies got when I was no longer dependent on an over-the-counter medication. Weaning away from that stuff is really, I think, is important. And usually the best way to go off any kind of medication, if it's a over-the-counter one you take regularly, is to slowly wean yourself off. That's always going to be best, because a lot of times your body's become dependent on it, and slowly weaning off, just like we did with the thyroid medications, as we added more healthy things to our diet, was the best way to go. So a slow wean, that way your body can learn to be strong again and do what it was made to do in the first place. And here's the funny thing, though: at all the places that I went to, I was surprised that the first thing I'm going to mention wasn't on any of these lists. And that is local raw honey. That should be really right at the top. And let me stress again, that needs to be local, or as local as you can get it, because what's happening is those bees are collecting the pollen and the nectar from those various plants that tend to cause seasonal allergies. And so that, believe it or not, is why raw honey is helpful. And here's one place where I actually thought to take time to look up, well, what are the actual amounts you're supposed to take per day? Well, if you're just starting out, you're looking at a teaspoon of honey per day. That could be just eating the spoonful, or adding it to a good herbal tea, like some of the herbs I'm going to be mentioning here. And then slowly working your way up, like increasing a little bit every other day, until you're up to a tablespoon per every 50 pounds that you weigh. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you're looking at 2 tablespoons. If you weigh 150 pounds, 3 tablespoons. So it could take a while to work your way up there. It kind of surprised me a little bit with raw honey that you'd need to work your way up, but that's going to apply to just about anything natural. You should start small and work your way up, because you never know how your body is going to react. And it's always important to listen to your body as well. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is reading off the list of herbs that can be helpful. And I'll be putting this all together, by the way, into a written list, and I'm providing the link to it in the description box down below. So if you don't want to have to write all this stuff down, you can just click on that link, and it'll pull up the list along with some pictures, and then you can just copy and paste that. So that'll make it easy for you. So anyway, you've probably heard a lot about reishi mushroom, but reishi is one of those, especially when combined with astragalus. Astragalus is an excellent root. This is one that I add to my elderberry spice syrup. So my cough, cold, and flu remedy / prevention syrup that I make at least a big batch of every year. And anyway, so combining those two together, be it in the form of a tea or however, is one way that you can do that. Horehound is an excellent one. Another one I include in that elderberry syrup. It's especially good at helping to work up mucus, and that's why that's one of these on the list. Stinging nettle, I was really thrilled to find this on the list. Stinging nettle is so excellent. It is just one of those herbs. It's safe for most people to take, and there's many ways that you can do it. It has a very mild flavor. You can use it in cooking. You can make a tea out of it. You can dry it up and then just add it to whatever smoothies and so on. It's one of the main greens that I use in my mixed greens blend that goes in just about every meal that I make. Goldenrod. Now this is one I've heard about many times, but I've never used it, so I don't have any personal experience with it, but I read a lot of good things about goldenrod in helping with seasonal allergies. Butterbur, another one I've heard of, never used. And then, of course, horseradish is great. Now, the way that horseradish works is if you're eating it, obviously, as anyone would know, it helps to clear the sinuses. So part of the things about allergies is you're wanting to do the best you can to keep your nasal passages opened up so that you can prevent getting infection. Horseradish or even wasabi is one of the ways that you can do that. Or even the Chinese hot mustard, they're all very similar. They all come from a similar type plant. Mullein is a great herb for this. So mullein, generally speaking, is good for respiratory health, but it's good for very many other things, which, by the way, I do have a video that just recently came out on the many benefits to mullein. And what I'll do is link to the full playlist I have out so far on herbs that also includes horehound, nettle, and some of the other herbs I'll be listing off in here and all their many benefits. Yes, mullein is great. I've been starting to incorporate that more into various things. Rosemary is another great one. And by the way, a side note, a lot of these things can be good in teas. So rosemary is one of those you can make a tea out of, or you can make a tincture or some sort of strong extract. Now, last year I used fresh rosemary and made an extract using raw honey. And I can't remember if I think I just used raw honey in it, but I might have added a little bit of homemade wine to lower the viscosity of the honey so it would extract better. I think I might have done that. I did mention a video a while back, but anyway, there's one option. It's actually kind of tasty. I liked it. Garlic, as many of you know, is a great one. So consider that honey-infused garlic as well, or you can do a honey-infused garlic and rosemary. And I have a couple of different videos on honey-infused garlic. There's one specifically on that, and I like to add like either red pepper or some hot peppers from my garden and onions to that as well. And even black seed now is another one I've added to that, which black seed is Nigella sativa, sometimes called black cumin, is one of those on the list to help with allergies. So that can be taken in the form of the oil or the seeds themselves. If you're going to take the seeds, you want to really chew them up well, which is what I do if I'm going to eat the seeds. But you can also add seeds to various things. I don't care for the taste of black seed by itself, but I have found that adding it to my more savory yeast breads actually adds a nice flavor, and that's a way I can get a little bit more of the health properties of the black seed. Turmeric, again, another great herb for so many things, and I also just had a video come out on turmeric as well, and so that's in that same playlist. And ginger, turmeric and ginger are in the same family, so a lot of times you'll find them side by side when we're talking about natural remedies for various things. And ginger tea, though I'm starting to kind of delve into trying turmeric tea. It's the color that gets me, not the flavor. But ginger tea is excellent, especially if you're using fresh ginger. Fresh ginger is the best for making tea out of. Echinacea is another good one. Peppermint. Neem oil. Now the neem oil is more specifically for using topically, though you can take it internally, it's totally safe. But in this case, a lot of times when people have allergic outbreaks, it might come out in the form of a rash. So neem oil is a good option to put on that. And I even recommend adding a little bit of clove essential oil to that, because when you put the clove oil in there and mix it in, it has its own benefits as it's very antiviral, antiseptic, but it's also numbing. So it can really help curb the itch if you've got a real itchy rash. Chamomile great used as a tea. And this one was rather new to me. So sea buckthorn, and that is using the leaves, the flowers, the berries, and or the seeds. So any part of that. And then yarrow is another one of the herbs, and I love yarrow. It was one of the first ones I did a video on, I think back in 2016. And now the next thing I want to cover are some specific nutrients. Now, when I list off nutrients, this can mean either taking it in a supplement form if you feel you need that extra boost, or finding the foods that are high in these specific nutrients. So that would be berberine, quercetin, bromelain, we know that's high in pineapple, omega-3 fatty acids, which you're going to find in a lot of your fatty fish, and then vitamin D. And quercetin is an easy one because it's in many things. It is a very common flavonoid that you're going to find in a lot of fruits and vegetables that are red and orange, but also other fruits and vegetables as well. But you'll find it a lot in your citrus fruits, especially in the peels. Oranges, grapefruits, red peppers, and the list goes on. And I actually did a video several years back where I was talking about turmeric. And whenever you combine turmeric with quercetin, the quercetin is one of the many things that can help make the curcumin in the turmeric more bioavailable in the body. Thus, you're getting more potency out of it. You don't have to just use black pepper, people. Eating it with anything that has quercetin in it is going to do that. Heating it or cooking it with oil. But anyway, yeah, so in that list, I'll link to that video down below. In that video, I listed off a lot of the many fruits and vegetables and more that are high in quercetin. And one of those, by the way, it's at the top of the list, I believe, is lovage. That and capers. Those are the two at the very top of the list, and neither one of those are orange or red. And then some other things that you can consider doing that you might find very helpful in like the old-fashioned way, the steam method where you just heat a pot of water. I would even recommend putting certain herbs in there, especially herbs that have a strong scent like eucalyptus, rosemary, peppermint, anything like that, and cook it up and heat it up like a tea. And then you just put your face over it, drape a towel over your head, and then you're breathing in that steam that's also infused with those herbs, and really taking deep breaths through your nose and then out through your mouth and through your nose, because you want to get that up into your sinuses as high as possible, because that steam itself, even just plain steam, is going to help loosen up and open up the passages in there. And then if you're getting those herbs in there that, like the rosemary, the peppermint, and the eucalyptus, that's going to be very, very helpful at opening up those airways. And then if you're using essential oils, now I'm going to give a personal opinion before I go on, is that I don't believe that diffusing essential oils, where you're getting the droplets in the air and inhaling that, I don't think personally, I could be wrong on this. Again, this is just my personal opinion. I don't think that's the best thing for our lung health. But you can still use essential oils and aromatherapy in a safer way by, like years ago, Stacy put out a video where she uses some kind of skewers, I think it is, the bamboo ones, and soaks those in the essential oil and then sets those around and lets those diffuse. That way you're getting the aroma without getting the little particles going into your lungs. Now for me, what I would do is I would actually rub this like eucalyptus if I feel like I'm really stuffed up. A little bit of eucalyptus right under my nose is pretty powerful. And with most people, though, you're going to want to use that in a carrier oil so it's not too hot for you. I can handle quite a bit, so I use it neat. But some other oils would be peppermint, spearmint, cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon. These can all be very helpful. You can even consider combining some of these together and making your own blend, and then just putting just a little bit under there. Again, if you need to, you might want to consider putting it in a carrier oil like olive or avocado or coconut, whatever it is, and then using that. So, and then of course, like anything, you keep yourself well hydrated and keep yourself moving. Getting constant movement throughout the day is actually, and then also getting good rest at night. But the movement throughout the day and not staying sedentary is actually helpful at keeping things moving. Remember, mucus is our friend and it does serve a purpose, but we're trying to fight the allergies itself and then keep the passageways clear, because sinus infections are caused when a passageway stays blocked and it's not getting cleared out. The reason you get the mucus buildup is to catch the pollen and carry it out. But if it ends up getting clogged in there, then you want to clear that out to prevent infection from setting in. So anyway, don't forget to check out the links I'll be putting in, including the written list, in the description box down below. And if there's any herbs or anything else that I didn't mention, go ahead and put those in comments down below, and share your own experiences out of any of these that I've listed or others, and how it's helped you battle your seasonal allergies. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.